Hello friends, welcome to TMXing Adventures. Lisa here. I've just had a gorgeous customer call and say they made this beautiful German biscuit, which actually has turned out amazingly, but they had some trouble with the mix. And so I thought I'd take this as a chance to actually get online and film it and see what it turns out like. I have never made it. It is highly rated, which we were both confused about then why it didn't want to come together. And yeah, it's a beautiful German one. Don't know how to pronounce that. Pfeffernuss. Don't know. Anyway, German spice biscuit. Let's do it together. I'm not using gluten-free flour. Just for those of you who are gluten-free, I'm going to use standard baker's flour today, just because I want to mimic it as close as I can to what the beautiful customer did. So let's get started on this recipe. Okay, so molasses, 150 grams. Now, this is something where you may not always have molasses. I have a new jar that I've had sitting in the cupboard for a recipe for a while. Can't remember exactly what that new recipe was I was going to do. Today's the day then, okay? If you don't have molasses, I mean, I reckon it probably gives this a flavoring of some sort. It's like a burnt sugar smell. I reckon maybe you could do like a maple or a golden syrup instead. Probably won't make it authentic to what it's supposed to be, but you know, sometimes that's how you go, right? So 150 grams. Oh, stop. Little bit more. So, a little more. Just, can I get a little bit more, do you reckon? It looks like Vegemite. It doesn't smell like Vegemite. It's like burnt sugar. That'll do. Okay, next up we got honey, 70 grams. We actually had to deal with the bees the other day because they were about to swarm. So we have some honey. This is in our overflow bucket. Actually, not overflow, the little valve leaks on the one that we use to decant. So we just hang a bucket under it. So 70 grams of this. Hopefully there's enough. Looks like there should have been. Here we go. And yeah, I've never made this, but I'm curious. I do like the idea of all the spices in it. 90 grams of butter. My butter's just come out of the fridge because just decided to make it. The beauty of thermomixing, right? We can literally, if we've got a well-stocked fridge and pantry, we can pull together a meal or a recipe without having to go to the shops. Ooh, that was a little heavy. Come back here, a little bit of butter. Butter coated in molasses. 70, need half of that. I remember when we traveled in a caravan, traveling up near somewhere where the cane fields were. Must have been inland of Mackay somewhere. There's a golden boot. A big boot? No, not golden boot. Gum boot. A big gum boot. And I can't think of where it is. Maybe Innisfail or somewhere. Could be making that up. And it smelled like molasses. I can just remember everything smelled like burnt sugar, no matter where you went. Okay, next up, we've got heat, 7 minutes, 80 degrees, speed 2. And I press play. If you've ever got a recipe you're making and you're not sure on a step, you made it and it's not turned out the way you hoped, a bit like this, it's a well-rated recipe, but it just didn't come together, reach out. I'd love to hear from you. It gives me inspiration. I love chatting with you about your thermomixing as well, see what you're making. But otherwise, I'm going to come back in 7 minutes and let's continue this recipe together. So I'll see you soon. Okay, welcome back. Let's go next. Transfer to a bowl and set aside. So I have said bowl. It's just a melty mess now of what looks like a caramel sauce. It's not a caramel sauce though, it's just that everything's now combined. So I'll put that in here. And then let's see what we do next. Okay. Next, clean and dry the mixing bowl. I'm not going to do that. Does that surprise you? I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. So here goes, 550 grams of flour. So in this goes, I've just got baker's flour because I'm using what I would normally use for demos. I don't buy plain flour anymore. We buy plain flour for gluten-free, but I don't actually buy plain flour because I would make it myself from the baker's flour. If you need help on learning how to do that, just reach out. Happy to do that. So 500 of that. Okay, next up we have Well, thank you, Thermomix. I love it when it dings and says, you've done it right. Okay, 150 grams of white sugar. Now, I have raw sugar. I'm just going to use what I've got. I don't know if I've got brown sugar, actually. I forgot to look. So 150 is quite a bit of sugar, but it does make a lot of biscuits. I'm going to be getting the kids in to help me later with this. Okay, that. All right, brown sugar. Do I have some brown sugar? Excuse me while I dig in the drawer for a second. Here's some. All right. My drawer of things I don't use very often. White sugar, tick. Brown sugar, 80 grams. Okay, a little heavy today. Lisa's got the heavy hands. That's all right. Let's take some out. Beauty of Thermomix. If I'm careful, I should be able to take a fair amount out. Maybe. That'll do. Leave that aside. Okay, now some herbs. Not herbs, what are they called? Spices. 1.5 teaspoons of ground cardamom. In this goes. Now, if this doesn't come together, maybe it's the fact that I didn't clean out my bowl. We'll have to wait and see. 1 teaspoon of ground nutmeg. Not my favorite, but I will follow the recipe. It's got a lot of sugar to cover that flavor. 1 teaspoon of ground cloves. In this goes. Now I've got my home-grown ground ginger. 1 teaspoon. In this goes. I love that. Ground cinnamon, 2 teaspoons. This one's got its own teaspoon in here. Hopefully the kids like these. Soon find out. And then some bicarb of soda. Okay, 1.5 teaspoons. Don't get it mixed up with baking powder. I'm sure you wouldn't. Okay, 1.5 teaspoons. Then some pepper. Oh my goodness, we have pepper in this. 1 teaspoon. How much is a teaspoon? I'm not sure. We'll just, what do you reckon about that? I wonder if it's, I'm so curious now. And 1/2 teaspoon of salt. In this goes. I wonder if this is like a savory sweet biscuit. Very curious. Next. Okay, 5 second speed 5. Let's bring this together. It's just going to combine that dry stuff. If you're in your own kitchen, you'd probably be putting things together, like putting things away, but I'll just wait. Next, add 2 eggs. Yeah, so see how it just kind of lightly combined them? Okay, in with 2 eggs. And then must just about be ready to add this mix back in. I think our baby chickens are about to start laying, which is really exciting. Okay, add the mix back in. So I'm just going to grab the stuff up the sides. Here we go. And this back in. Okay, and then let's have a look and see what it does. Next, mix 5 seconds, speed 5. Let's see what this does. So far, so good sounding. Let's have a look. Let's see what it did. That's not too bad. Next, wrap the dough in a bread mat, then place in the refrigerator for 2 hours to let it come together. So it's going to be a dough. I'm just wondering whether I need to do another mix to get the last of that through. Wow, it smells amazing. I'm going to hit the back arrow and make it kind of combine a bit further. So let's go back a step. Mark as current step. Press play, let it come together. I haven't got my bread mat out. If you don't have a thermomat in your life, they're amazing. Next up, wrap it in plastic wrap. That's better. I just want to taste some. Does anyone else do that? Taste their raw cookie dough? I'm curious to see what it's like. So it's quite warm because of probably that molasses in it. It's quite warm. Ooh. Yum. Sweet, spice, like those spices. Bit of the kick of the salt. Yum. All right. I'm going to wrap this in silicone. I'll come back to you. I'll show you how to roll some later after it's set in the fridge for a while. But that's pretty cool. I like how that's come together. It's not too bad. It's not well together, but it's enough that when I put it on the thermomat, that'll come together. So I'll be back with you soon. See you then. Okay, welcome back. It's been a couple of hours and it's been wrapped in the fridge. I've got a spatula to cut it because we don't cut out our thermomat with a knife, it'll cut through. I've lined a tray and the instructions say preheat oven to 160, so I've turned that on. Line 2 trays, I'm going to go one at a time. Actually, I'm going to get the kids to help, okay, so that I don't have to roll all of them. Take 2 teaspoons of the dough and roll into balls, and it's going to be approximately 47 of them. That's why I'm getting the children to help, because when there's 5 of us, that's only what, 9 each, yeah? So this looks really beautiful. Okay, so that's what it looks like. So 2 teaspoons approximately, must be about the size of what, a walnut, I guess. So it says, so there's about 2 teaspoons. Roll it into a ball and then put the pretty side up. And then it says to next arrange them on a prepared baking tray and press down to flatten slightly. So if we're doing approximately 47 balls, that's about 23 on a tray. So I'm assuming they don't grow too much. Guess we'll find out. So just push them down slightly and I'll keep on going with the kids and then we'll bake for 10 to 12 minutes. Now there is glaze to be made. It has optional rum in it. I'm not adding more sugar to this recipe, so I'm not going to do the glaze. I'm going to leave them as they are. But certainly if you want to do the glaze to make them traditional, then that's fine as well. But really simple and easy. So how cool is that? So I'm going to get the rest of these rolled in the oven. You'll see the photo of the final product beginning and end of this video. So I hope this inspires you to give them a go. If by some chance you have the same challenge that my gorgeous customer had, where it doesn't come together after you go 5 seconds, speed 5, and you end up with your mixture separated, what I would do is I'd tip it onto my thermomat and I'd work it by hand to get it together. Okay, I do think it's a very full recipe. It is one that takes up a lot of the bowl. I even know that when I looked at that left, you know how I scooped out some extra sugar? I ended up chucking it in at the end, but it didn't really want to combine in well. So I ended up chucking it in off camera before I tipped this out. And I thought, oh, you know what? I've already got it. I'll just use it. But it really stayed on the top then and I couldn't get it in. So if you're going to, just follow it. And if it doesn't work, use your thermomat to get it together at the end. But I had no trouble except for when I then threw that extra bit in. So that's really cool that this recipe is just something different you wouldn't otherwise tried, hey? So give it a go. Let me know what you think. If you need help with a recipe, you make something and it doesn't work, happy to chat. But otherwise, take care and I'll see you in the next video soon. Bye for now.